Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Jay Xavier Sports, and man, a lot has happened in the past couple of days as it pertains to the Jacksonville Jaguars. A couple of days ago, we extended, or actually picked up the option with Mercades Lewis. He'll be spending his 13th season in the NFL with the Jaguars, and he's been here pretty much his whole career. So he's not going to leave. He's not going to go anywhere else. He's probably going to retire as a Jaguar. He had 5 touchdowns last year, so he was somewhat productive. But most likely, we're probably going to draft a tight end or probably pick one up in free agency. He's probably one of the best blocking tight ends in the NFL, but we all know that he's very limited when it comes to his catching ability and his speed and things like that. So it'll be great for us to try to snag another tight end somehow, some way. I think we are going to do it, but it just seems like every year we never try to address the tight end. But I think this is the year we try to do that, whether in the draft or free agency. But, props to Mercedes Lewis. He does deserve it. I'm glad to see him back, that he's going to be back in Jacksonville next year. And we also re-signed Josh Wells and Tyler Shatley. We picked up those contracts as well. But one person I'm not going to be disappointed about leaving is Chris Ivory. We made a decision to get rid of him after spending 2 seasons with us. When we originally signed him from the Jets, he was he led the league in rushing in the AFC when we signed him. So when we first had that opportunity to see how he was going to play, we thought we were getting a quality starting running back. And then I think we drafted T.J. Yeldon the same year we acquired Chris Ivory, and it really hasn't been a smooth transition ever since he's been here. He's always been injured. He's had problems holding on to the ball. He's been very durable, and he's been good in short yardage and things like that. But you can't really depend on him for a 16-game schedule. And he's not he's not that type of running back where there's like a big market for him, or there's like a necessity to keep him on the team. We can find other guys that have that same running style. And we just drafted Leonard Fournette, and he had a great season for us as well. And you can't forget we got T.J. Yeldon and Corey Grant. Corey Grant got a lot of touches in that New England game, and he kind of saw, if we can utilize Corey Grant the way that we're supposed to, then he could be effective. So it was just everything was just writing on the wall when it came to getting rid of Chris Ivory. I think most Jaguar fans are kind of happy to see him leave. So I thought that was somewhat good news. But now we go to Blake Bortles getting re-signed, or I'm sorry, getting extended. Well, actually, before I talk about that, I do have to mention Caldwell, Dave Caldwell, and Doug Marrone, as well as Tom Coughlin. They also got extended with their contracts through 2021. So clearly, the Jaguars are trying to basically set in stone what our core is going to be, what our culture is going to be. We have Tom Coughlin at the head. We got our head coach with Doug Marrone, and then we still got Dave Caldwell scouting and evaluating talent. So we got a good mix of guys in the front office. So I'm very excited about that direction moving forward. I do think we got the right guys up there. So I felt like that was a smart move, obviously. But just to talk about Blake Bortles, his contract is a 3-year extension. It's going to be worth 3 years, $54 million, with 23 of it guaranteed. And I believe the contract can be up to $66 million with other incentives and things like that. But I feel like this was a smart move, just kind of a smart, safe move. There's not a really big market for quarterbacks per se, as far as the ones that we really want, and that we're not going to have to break the bank for. As of now, I got I guess you could say the best 3 quarterbacks out there that you're able to get was would have been Drew Brees, Alex Smith, and Kirk Cousins, and then I guess you can throw Tyrod Taylor right there. So Kirk Cousins would have probably been too expensive, so that's probably why you haven't really heard too many reports about us trying to chase him. And then, of course, Alex Smith got traded to Washington. And then Tyrod Taylor, I don't necessarily feel like the Jaguars are that much interested in him or really look at him as a future stable quarterback. I feel like he's a really good quarterback. But if we want to move in that direction, we might as well just draft Lamar Jackson in the draft. So I feel like, we can get the same quality type of quarterback in Lamar and go the cheaper route instead of having to pay for Tyrod Taylor. So I felt like they weren't going to move in that direction as well. And I don't know, it just, when you look at it, they just felt like Blake Bortles was the best situation of what they have going on right now. Even when you look at Drew Brees, he wasn't going to leave New Orleans anyway. But you look at quarterbacks like Nick Foles and even Case Keenum. Like, these are good quarterbacks that led their teams to great things last year, same as Blake Bortles. Now, we all know Nick Foles won the Super Bowl, but Carson Wentz obviously had the great season before that. But if you look at Nick Foles' body of work and Blake Bortles, taking out the wins and losses, their body of work as far as their accuracy and the yardage and the touchdowns, Blake Bortles' numbers, aren't that far off from, most good quarterbacks in the NFL starting off his career, through his first 4 or 5 seasons. So the Jaguars are just looking at it as this is the safest route to go. This is the best of what we can do at this point. We're not going to sit here and throw $30 million a year for Kirk Cousins. Like, we have to be real about that. I know most Jaguar fans are upset, because they felt like, yeah, Blake Bortles is good. He led it to the AFC Championship game. But we all know he has those games where he could turn the ball over, or the offensive coordinators are limiting the play calling because of him. So I know Jaguar fans can be frustrated in the fact that we extended him, but you have to realize that, in the situation that we have now, there's not a lot of other quarterbacks that are better than him that we're able to get on our friend, to call our franchise quarterback. So now what we have to do is think about the future. We got a good defense, we got a good front office. So why would you waste that in cutting a quarterback that just led you to the AFC Championship? If you weren't going to get a Kirk Cousins type of quarterback in free agency, why would you just get rid of him and try to move forward through the draft and all that? I think it was just a smart thing to do at this point. And taking nothing away from Blake Bortles, but even though he had a good season last year, we all know the limitations that he has, and he's going to have to play better, if he's going to see anything past those 3 years, So I guess you could say this move is somewhat of a step in the direction of us finding our franchise quarterback, but it's still, time is still yet to be seen as far as how good Blake Bortles can be. And it's just one of those weird situations. We look at Blake Bortles, like I said, you look at his body of work and you look at the things he's done in the NFL. He's had successful seasons, and he's had a season where he took a team to the AFC Championship game. So you see the good in Blake, but for some reason we still kind of look at Blake as this mediocre or trash quarterback, especially through the national media. They still kind of perceive him as a trash quarterback. But when you really look at it, guys, he's not really trash at all. He's actually just an above average quarterback who was picked number 3 overall, and we just expect more things out of him. But really, he just is what he is. So at the end of the day, we just got to let this, just give it some time, let this thing develop. We had a great season last year. Let's just see if we can duplicate it. It's just that simple, Let's just see if we can duplicate the season we had last year and see if we can win the Super Bowl and advance from winning the AFC Championship and win the Super Bowl. That's the only thing that I would make different from last year. But, it looks like we're going to be just a stable franchise. We got our quarterback signed for 3 years. We got our front office, and we got everything in place. So now it's just time to go out there and win. Fans got to get involved. Everybody else got to get involved and just start supporting the team. So I'm excited, and I can't wait for the season to start. I'm going to be posting videos about the draft, about any free agent signings, obviously, and any other activities we have going forward that we end up doing. I'll end up posting a video about it and things like that. So I know it'll be another busy off season for the Jags, and I'm looking forward to the free agency and draft and things like that. So definitely leave a comment in the comment section. If this is your first time watching the video, subscribe. Other than that, go Jags, and I'll catch up with you guys later. Peace.